What's going on, everybody? I hope you had a happy 4th of July weekend. Today's video is controlling on the things that you can control. So what I want to get into is, throughout life we have the cards that we're dealt, and sometimes those cards suck to begin with. And, recently finishing my book and kind of putting my life together and looking back on things, realizing that in those moments I could only control the things that I can control. And that's really what I want you guys to be aware of. You're not always going to be able to control the narrative of what people think about you and like how they speak about you. But what you do have control of is how you conduct yourself and how you move through your everyday. And my perfect example for this is, when I was going through family court, there was definitely things that were said about me that I didn't believe to be true. And if I was a weaker person, I would have stood up and I could have ruined my life by the things I could have said. So again, I can't control the things that people are saying about me, and just like you can't control the things that people say about you. But what you can do is you can be consistent in who you are and what you represent and who you want to be. I was under the firm belief that when I was going through all my trials and tribulations, that I knew who I was as a man. I knew who I was as a father, and I knew that God knows who I was, and I know that my son knows who I am. So that was the stuff that was able to carry me through the rough times. And both when you work hard and when you treat people with respect and you conduct yourself in a certain way, eventually that consistency pays off, and in the end it's like it all comes together and eventually works itself out. And the way I best describe that is, in the last couple of years, I've been starting to invest some money into the stock market. And the best way to describe it is I like to use parables, kind of like Jesus did, to explain things for people to understand them easier. So for this parable, it's like the stock market with investing. Everybody wants to get quick. They want to have that one meme stock, like the GameStop stock, and they want it to blow up overnight and they want to become rich. But when it comes to controlling the things that you can control, it's more like I've started to invest in the S&P, and the S&P has a traditional growth of growing over time. It's very, very unlikely that you're going to invest your money into it today and you're going to be able to turn around tomorrow and have a return for what you put in. And that's exactly how life is. The stock market, S&P, it has 10% growth over time, year by year, even through the hardest times. And that's the correlation I want to make, is that you can only control what you can control. You can control what you do today. You can control the investments you put into today. And that goes with relationships, that goes with your job, that goes with your kids. The consistency that you do and the way you choose to live your life daily is going to be what accumulates and what people eventually take out. So the way you act today, that's an investment into your future. The way you continue to act and you be consistent in those actions, that's what's going to build you to be the person that you want to be. And especially when it comes to your job, relationships, life in general, I think that your hardest times in life, especially if they happen on early, those are the things that build your character and build you who you want to be. So again, for my example, I recently finished my memoir, writing my book, so I'm having a lot of coming to realization moments of things. So I'm finding it easier to be able to discuss these things. But very early on, I didn't have the things that would make it ideal for me to be able to be successful. But I had a good attitude. I treated people nice. I was respectful. When I was doing my work, I was doing it even when nobody was looking, and I was doing it the right way. And that stuff pays off, because when somebody does see you, you don't want to be the one where you're only trying to impress people when they're watching, because most of the times the people that control what's going to happen to you in life, whether it be your career, it's the stuff that they notice in the moments where you don't realize they're watching you. And it's kind of like the concept of you only have one one chance to make a first impression, because usually what that first impression is what people are gonna stick by. You know, so that's my best advice for like controlling your narrative for if you want to be successful in life and successful in your career, is control what you can control. You can control waking up, you can control getting dressed, you can control wearing clean clothes and looking presentable. That stuff you can control. When you get to work, you can clock in with a smile, you can have a positive attitude. That stuff you can control. You can't control what your current pay rate is, you can't control the current position, but you can control how you act in that position, because that's the stuff that's going to carry you into becoming the best version of yourself and eventually get you to where your goals are. You should never go in with any mindset that you're going to change something like today. Like it's like the S&P analogy. You can put $5 in today, and if you try to take it out today or tomorrow, you might have $5.01, but there's not going to be any true return on it. The mindset I want you guys to have is treat every day like it's an investment. Like, I invest $5 today, I invest $5 tomorrow, I invest $5 the next day, and eventually when you get to the end, what you put in has been compounded. So your money exponentially grows, and how people look at you and how you conduct yourself exponentially grows too. So that's the analogy I want to work with. You know, when I got to this stage of my life and I got my career, it was built upon the shoulders of the people that I interacted with along the way. You know, if I was to act differently towards anybody, if I would have been rude to somebody, that could have been a person that could have sabotaged my path moving forward. So I've always conducted myself in that way where I'm always going to say hi, I'm always going to smile, I'm going to do my job without complaining. At least outwardly, I'm not going to complain. Obviously, there's moments where behind closed doors or I'm with my peers that there will definitely be those type of conversations, but not directly when you're on stage. Secondly, this comes to like the parenting aspect of it. You know, especially like if you're going through family court, again, you can only control what you can control. I think the ugliness of the family court system is that it brings out the worst in us, and especially for dads, like, we have such a small margin for error, if any margin at all, to kind of make our case for who we are. You know, the court's not gonna decide with us and not gonna give us the benefit of the doubt. So we kind of have to conduct ourselves in a different way than, say, a mother would have to. And this isn't to slight the mothers. It's just the way the court system works and operates. So for dads, you just need to control what you can control. Like for myself, I can control how I wake up. I can control how I conduct myself at those pickups and those drop-offs. I can control how I act in the courtroom, how I act in front of the judge. That stuff I can control. I can control when I pick up my son and I'm consistent with him and I'm playing with him and I'm having fun and I'm teaching him and being present. That's stuff that I can control. That's the consistency that builds over time. So like the investment thing, the strategy, every day you invest a little bit in, and eventually you get the payoff and the reward at the end. And that's what parenting is, you know, you invest a little bit today, you invest a little bit tomorrow, you invest a little bit the next day. And eventually that relationship you have with your child is going to be built on strength, and it's going to be built on trust, and it's going to be built on respect, because your kids are going to know without a doubt, regardless of what's happening in the world, that dad's always going to show up or mom's always going to show up. So when you control the things you can control, the bigger picture ends up putting itself together. Like I said, it's really easy to fall to the other side of it. It's really easy to blow up or try to get these little tits and tats and these little victories you perceive. What's really hard is keeping your head down and working hard and staying consistent. You know, when I first started my custody battle, it didn't seem like it was even a realm of possibility there would ever be peace in my life. And I'm sitting here in front of a camera, talking to you guys, kind of telling you where I've gone through, and letting you know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. if you stay consistent, you stay true to yourself, and you do the right things, I promise you things can get better. You know, again, with my relationship with my son's mother, it was something I could have never even imagined we would get to a point where there would be peace in our lives. And now, through all the trials and tribulations, through all the drama, all the wars and all that, we were able to finally have clear eyes and kind of take on the role of being parents to our child and give him the best life possible. And now we get along. Now we're co-parenting great. So there is always these parts where you feel like it's helpless, but that's really when you got to dig in and dig deep into your character and be willing to make the hard sacrifices, put the pride aside, put your head down, grind it out, stay consistent, and continually show up when you can. Because again, you can't control the things you can't control, but you can control the little tiny things that you do, and you can control how you act today, how you act in an hour. You can't control what happens tomorrow, but if you plant the seeds of high character today and you continue those things down the road, I promise you things can get better. And the same thing with careers and even relationships. Like, unfortunately, you're not the author of how your story ends. You have a major part in it, and you can kind of control where it goes based on how you act, but you don't have a direct say in how things go. And once you let go of that little bit of information, that you don't have control of everything, world can be a little bit more manageable. And take things in strides. Don't, like, I make this example for my parenting, is that, like, you know, when I first became a dad, I couldn't wait for certain milestones. And it's the same like in my career. It's like the first day you become a father or a parent, you're thinking about when they walk and when they talk or when you throw a ball with them. And it's the same in your career. It's like, well, I just started, I want to be a CEO right now. And that's not how things work. Like, you have to put the hard work in today. You have to show up, you have to grind, you get to get dirty. And these things slowly build over time, you know. Enjoy today, because it's the only thing that you have is the present. And you don't want to wish time away, and you don't want to wish like time with your kids away. And with your job, those are the times that you build trust and you build how people see you. So just take today, be the best version of yourself today. Like, my faith is really important to me. So, like, Jesus says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will have its own problems. Just focus on today. Focus on the things that you can control. And when you stack those on top of each other and you stay consistent, good things will happen. I know bad things can derail you, and there's moments where your anger or your sadness, and life's gonna get to you, but it's how you react in those moments, and it's how you push forward is how you get to control where the narrative of your life goes. I know this is kind of a deep conversation, but I think it's very important. I think it's important for people to hear. Again, like, I am not a celebrity. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not a titan in my industry. But I built my life into something that I'm pretty proud of. I'm proud of the parent I am. I'm proud of the career I have. I'm proud of the relationships I have and the way that people see me. Yes, there was a time where I was derailed for a little bit and life got really challenging, but I was able to put my head down, grind through, and get through those circumstances. And I know you can too, which is why I made this video. So if you guys like videos like this, please like, please share, please subscribe to somebody that could use these words. And I promise that if you subscribe to my channel, I will always give my best effort in every video I make. And I'll always have that mindset of what I'm making can benefit somebody. It can benefit a kid. It can benefit somebody that's feeling down on themselves. And also, if you like dad jokes, I say dad jokes every day. So if you like a little bit of a smile, please join my community. I go live every single week. I have a new podcast. So I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment below. Let me know if you had your moments of doubt and if you saw the light at the end of the tunnel for your own life. Your stories help too. I mean, my goal is to have a community here. So appreciate you guys watching, and may God bless you and have a great rest of your day.